Like, we forget that these are real people going through real lives, real days, real things in their life. And this question pops in their head, or this thing they want pops in their head, or this problem pops up. Hi everybody, it's Alex from Guiding Creatives. This is the community for creatives, multi-passionate people, freelancers, and I'm here to show you how you can achieve your creative passions and get whatever you want. It could be time, money, financial freedom, energy, opportunity, community. Maybe you want to own an amusement park. Whatever your goals are, I'm here to help you get it in some way. So today is a gloomy, rainy day, which if you're on YouTube, it might be a little bit weird with the lighting, but it's a great time to have a little chit-chat conversation. And today is something that creatives need to hear, freelancers need to hear, clients need to hear, businesses need to hear. Everybody needs to hear this, because no matter what perspective you're coming from, you've probably dealt with this confusion, this misunderstanding, this miscommunication, and it leads to tension in a freelancer-client relationship. It leads to self-doubt. It leads to frustration. And that is the fact that social media, at the end of the day, has a human component. Social media has a human design. Social media has a human touch. We've all seen people cheat the system. It's easy enough to say, oh, we just need to hit this many views. We just need to get this many followers. We just need to get this. We aim for these numbers. And it's okay to have numerical goals. And I understand that, when you do hit certain numbers, it can bring you certain traffic. But how often have you seen that you get 1,000 views, maybe one comment? You get 1,000 followers, only one sale a month. Do you know what I mean? It's because we mistake virality and social media success to real life human conversion. These are not robots. You're not selling to a system, you're selling to a person. Or you're not showing your art to a system, you're showing art to a person. So when we start to see empty numbers or empty results, this is where things get complicated. It gets complicated when you have self-doubt. Maybe you're reaching all these people, but they're not buying, they're not signing up, they're not liking, they're not commenting. Maybe you're getting all these likes, followers, comments, but people aren't clicking your link, people aren't buying your product. It just causes so much issues. So let's talk about it. One thing you have to realize is just putting yourself out there is often not enough. It can't sell itself, it can't do it itself. Just because it exists on a platform, and yes, one person might stumble across it, that's not enough. And people think, and this is why I spoke out earlier that, I'm not convinced AI is going to take over, because anybody can put a product, a service, art up and say, buy this, you want this is this. But the connection is missing. If you are not actively doing a strategy that is connecting with people, keeping up with people, commenting back to people, building a community, it's probably not going to convert. We often lose that because if we can get an automated system that schedules everything out, it has perfect copy, all this stuff, we just assume that the traffic is going to come. And in some cases it will, to an extent. But we have to remember, we're dealing with real people. These are real people behind the computer. Just because you do everything right, quote unquote right, on your end, it doesn't mean that it's going to be automated sales or automated signups or automated YouTube watches. There is a component where you have to appeal to people. And this is where people get stuck. You create with yourself in mind, with your business in mind, with your art in mind. You create with your goals, your feelings. You have to be able to connect and understand your audience. It doesn't matter what kind of conversion you're looking for. Maybe you're just looking for followers. Maybe you're just looking for sales. But you have to be able to speak the language of your audience, and you need to talk to them. You need to create for them, which as a creative is very difficult because you want to serve your creative needs and your creative pursuits, but sometimes you do have to create or even just form your delivery to your audience. So one big issue where this comes in, my experience is, and a reason why I don't often offer social media management, and I'm very picky about who I do Pinterest management for, is people do not understand that the social media manager, the person who is doing your social media copy, the person who is doing your social media graphics, at the end of the day, they are not directly responsible for your sales. Let me repeat that. Your coaches, your managers, your creators, are not responsible specifically for your conversions and your sales. Now, they are responsible for making sure that you do speak to your audience, so forming content that is not just business-based and is also human or target audience-based. They are responsible for quality content that does get in front of people. But you can have the best graphic and copy and delivery. But if the essence of it, which is the topic of it, the product of it, the service of it, doesn't appeal to people, or it's not in demand, or it's not something people can afford, you're not going to see those conversions. This gets so tangly because it's also hard to look at a client and say, because, this is their business, this is something they're proud of. So sometimes it's hard to say, listen, people aren't responding well to this, or, the topic you're speaking on is not ranking in search, like it's not a highly searched topic, so it's not going to grow right away. It's hard to look at someone and say that, because anybody who starts on this pursuit, unless they're just looking to make a profit, are probably passionate about what they're doing. And it's a tough conversation, but it's the best conversation to have, because if you can understand that you need to reach real people and you need to pay attention to what real people feel about your product or business, you can start adapting, you can start learning, you can start actually becoming successful by paying attention to what people want. And this is why people often do clickbait, because clickbait can get you conversions. They won't always make the sale, but they can get the website link, they can get the video opening, but not exactly their attention. You know what I mean? People do this clickbait, but we do know that clickbait also doesn't work. If you can get somebody hooked and interested and keep them there, that's good. But oftentimes clickbait is very empty, it's misleading, and it's why it's no longer a good practice. I don't think it ever was a good practice, but it worked, you know what I mean? But people are catching on. When people click in and you give them a feeling of being misled, or that you've kind of played a trick on them, it's a negative feeling associated with whatever you're offering. So it's going to drive people away. It's a hard realization to come to, because it means that you have to change something, you have to work harder, you have to re-strategize. And nobody wants to hear that, because we believe, and I say we because I've even done this, we believe that if you create good graphics, if you film a short, you're going to be successful. If you post every day, you're going to be successful. And if we were dealing with robots, maybe that would be true, but we're dealing with real people. There are real people looking at their phone, having thoughts and emotions when they see your things. And this is why when people talk about brand voice and brand tone, I know so many people, including myself, who have dismissed that. It is so important to make your audience feel a certain way. If you make them feel negatively, like I just said, misled, or they don't trust you, that's going to hurt your brand. This is why, as a client or business, you need to understand that a coach or manager can only do so much. And then as a coach or manager or creator, you need to understand, to make it clear to your clients, this is what I can do for you. This is what is in my control. This is the results I can get. However, these are out of my control. And I do that a lot, even with YouTube SEO. I say, I can get you ranked in search, but if you have a bad thumbnail, I can't control your click-through rate. I can't control your views. I can't control your subs. That's about you, your product, your video, etc. That's a tough conversation to have. Some people are like, oh, well, people have promised me this many subs, this many views. Then go do that. Report back. It's not realistic. Some people hearing this are going to get a knot in their stomach, because it's just like another obstacle. But it's not another obstacle. It's how you approach social media. It's not simply input, output. It's input, connect, output. Because in between that input and output is a person. This person is on their phone. They see your Instagram ad pop up. You are not going to get that output, that conversion, that sale, that sign up, unless that person looking at that feels good about it, trusts you, and needs it or wants it, or it appeals to them in some way. So you see how there's an emotional aspect to that. And that's where the human design comes in. What makes you unique? Are you affordable or reasonable? What's your delivery time? Can they trust you? Is your ad visually appealing? Is it emotionally appealing? Does it make them want to support your brand? There's so many things that play into this. And that's why empty strategies, empty engagement, empty conversions, that's why empty social media results don't work. And when we talk about SEO, search engine optimization, We know that you can use all these tools. You can look at monthly searches. You can see like if it's for navigation or transaction. You can get all these stats about keywords. And then you can use these keywords to help boost your blog, your social media, your YouTube. That is a machine. Like that is a tool that you can use. But we often forget that these monthly searches, that number you're getting, are real people cooking dinner saying, I wonder about this. And then they go on Google and search it in. Then that gets logged. Like we forget that these are real people going through real lives, real days, real things in their life. And this question pops in their head, or this thing they want pops in their head, or this problem pops up. The sooner you can realize that you're connecting with real people and put yourself in a different perspective. And this is going to be like kind of hard, but this visualization exercise will change everything. I've heard it once, it's stuck with me because one, it makes you appreciate your audience, but two, it makes it a little bit more realistic. So when you have 1,000 followers and you are posting something that you really want to promote, you really want people, specifically your followers, to click on, pretend you're in a room of 1,000 people and you're about to put something up on the screen. You have you're giving a presentation, you have something on the screen. You're going to show this to 1,000 real people in front of you, sitting in their seats, and hope that they come up and buy it. Or they come up and say, I want in, or I want to sign up, I want to watch this, whatever it is. You have to think about it like that. Because in a room full of people, there will be crickets. And then there will be some people who are like, There will be some people who want more details. There's some people who want questions. This will make you realize what content you have to create. Because if you're going to post something about a coaching course that you're doing, and say it has a hefty price tag, but it's a reasonable price, it's not exploiting people, because I don't believe in that. One of the common questions will be, how much time do I have to commit to this every day or every week? I'm really interested, but this is a big price point. If I don't have time for it, I can't do it. If you're not answering that in your graphic, if it's not easily found, people are probably not going to click. So when you're creating content, not only can you create promotional content, answer these frequently asked questions. That will help you build this relationship. You're targeting your audience. And then you have to think about, okay, those are your followers. Those are people who know you. Now you're trying to reach people outside of your followers. It's like putting flyers up around the neighborhood. How do you convince somebody, or how do you put yourself in front of somebody in a way that is, hi, this is what I do, this is what I offer, this is what I make. You might be interested if you are blah, 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 blah. And then there's a connection. They call, they sign up. You have to really think about it in the real world context before you put it on social media. Yes, you can use machine learning. You can use social media tools to play the game of use SEO keywords, make sure you have hashtags, make sure you post at the best time. But your content, your delivery, and the energy behind it has to be human. You're pitching to real people. Just because there's a screen in between you both doesn't mean that you're not pitching to a real person. And that's what we forget. If you're on a phone call with someone, would you say what you have in your caption? Are you missing something? If you did read your caption to somebody, would they ask a very important question? Maybe that's something that should be in your content or should be your next post. So I just wanted to bring this up because it's something I see often in the creative space. It's a tension point for people as creators. It's a tension point for people who create for others. It's a tension point for businesses who can't get a grip on social media by themselves. It's a tension point. So thanks so much for listening. Try to remember this, build a community, and stay creative. Bye.